Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another MAMJ Let's Play. Today I'm starting a game called Sound of Drop, Fall into Poison. Now this is a game that some of you guys recommended to me, and I actually was very curious about it as well. It's a visual novel style horror game. It kind of reminds me of The Letter, which you guys may remember I did a demo of not too long ago. But I decided to do this for the shorter video, or one of the shorter videos for the channel, because I don't think it's going to take as long to get through the entire story as opposed to some of the other games. So without any further ado, let's see what happens when you get trapped in an aquarium and just bad things happen all around, shall we? No, I already got an achievement. Awesome! You started the game. Before she realized it, the girl was standing before an imposing door. The girl occasionally came to Mantan Aquarium alone. She watched the manta rays, she watched the jellyfish, and finally, she decided it was time to go home. Where is this? She had her doubts, but there should be nothing else there except for the aquarium. She assured herself that she had probably wandered off onto a side path. The door before her had a large padlock hanging from it. Just as she had heard, it was unlocked and merely dangling there. The girl drew in a breath. Being locked would usually mean that it was a place she shouldn't enter. Being open just meant that a staff member had forgotten to lock it, so going in was out of the question. Her curiosity piqued. She was past the point of persuasion. Her imagination ran wild, and her mind raced at the prospect of what might lie beyond the door. Just for a little bit. She opened the door and saw lots of glass tanks. Several types of fish hailing from the deep seas, from football fish and oarfish to pelican eels and barrel eyes, were swimming about. Why isn't this in an exhibit? She thought it over, wondering why this would be in a closed-off area. Behind her, the door shut on its own. The girl spaced out, staring at the deep-sea fish swimming about. They would leap from the tank and swim in midair. The entirety of the room was the fish and their ocean. Though it was an unnatural occurrence, the girl treated it as quite normal. Wasn't there originally a deep-sea fish booth that was shut down? That's an interesting graphic. She suddenly remembered. At that moment, her surroundings were dyed a deep red. The water in the tanks, the fluorescent lights, all of it was red. The girl's vision also became red. When she opened her eyes, the girl was back in her own room. It was well into the night. She couldn't remember how she had gotten home after all of that. But, more importantly, she had a bad feeling about something else. It isn't red here. She became aware of how hard it was to breathe. No matter how hard she gasped, she was unable to get oxygen into her body. Like the fish who couldn't breathe anywhere but in the water, she couldn't breathe unless she was inside that red color. She was convinced. On impulse, she threw open the window, leaned out, and thrust a hand outside. She couldn't inhale the wind flooding her room. She could only smell its milky, unpleasant scent. More. At that moment, the girl's body was tossed into the air. For just a second, her body seemed to float like a fish in the sea. Her room was on the 12th floor of her apartment building. In her fading consciousness, the girl watched her blood flow endlessly from her body. It's red. Only then could she breathe. Now, everything would be fine. The girl smiled. The full moon and the night sky smiled too. No, it didn't. Oh, no, no. Okay. Yep, that's definitely the sound of a drop. Drip, drip. The sound of falling drops. The moon was concealed behind the clouds, and all the lights of the town were covered in water. The sound of it was the only thing left to resonate. She couldn't tell whether it was hot or cold, merely that the humid air was encircling her. Drip, drip. Wherever they were falling to, wherever they were coming from, the drops just continued to trickle out. That single drop. I stopped it with both hands. The sound of that solitary red drop. Okay, this game likes red a lot. I don't know how I feel about that. Not very comfortable with it right now. Oh, school. Yay! Well, hi. Or at least there's an urban legend that goes like that. Talking about Mountain Aquarium again? That's your new thing, isn't it? While stuffing her lunch into her mouth, Tamagawa Himeno spoke, her eyes sparkling. I had no idea which point in the story got her so excited. That's right. Isn't this the scariest part? That the girl jumped to her death, smiling after coming back from Mountain Aquarium? It's pretty bad. Yet, you don't seem the least bit scared, Himeno. That's not true. I got chills running down my spine. Someone who's got chills running down their spine wouldn't be eating a pastry so cheerfully. Someone who's got chills running down her spine wouldn't be eating a pastry so cheerfully. And hey, that's my meatball! During a break in the conversation, Himeno stole a side dish from my box lunch. This minced meat's from growing calves and little piglets. It's the best. Why do you have to put it like that? Jeez. Why do you have to make me lose my appetite? I'll give you the rest of it. Alright, I'll take it. Himeno takes the rest of the meatballs from my lunch with amazing rhythm. The reason that I, Nakanobe Mayumi, lost my appetite wasn't because Himeno's story scared me. Mountain Aquarium and I are connected in a way that I'd rather not think about. Of course, Himeno has no idea about that connection. If she knew, she'd never mention Mountain Aquarium around me again. At the same time, I've been afraid that this thing might cause Himeno to stop talking to me. Himeno's pretty much my only friend. It isn't that I haven't talked to anyone since entering junior high, just that the only person I actually call a friend is Himeno. Seriously, I think this whole Mountain Aquarium rumor obsession is getting to be a bit much. Maybe. There's so many rumors though. Like, there's a man ghost in the tanks, that deep sea fish booth is only open on a full moon, that the water changes into blood, or that you can hear crying from behind the tanks. That earlier one goes with this one. Also, no, that's fine. You don't need to say anymore. I say firmly, causing Himeno to make a sour face. Soon after, Himeno changes the subject, first to a TV drama that aired the night before, then to some cute fake nails with cats on them that she found in the magazine. Then she talks about a classmate who was dating a boy from a nearby private school, alighting on one subject before quickly changing to the next. Normally, the subject of Mountain Aquarium shouldn't have popped up again. Anyway, getting back to what we were talking about earlier. Huh? What exactly are we getting back to? Mountain Aquarium! I looked into it, and this Sunday, it'll be a full moon. Huh? That was all I could say, the rest of my words unable to come out. So, we should go and see if the rumors are true or not. But I know you aren't interested in stuff like urban legends, Mayu, but next week we'll start preparing for the end of the semester, and I won't be able to hang out with you. Lately, we haven't gone anywhere together, have we? If the full moon was on next Sunday, I'm sure Himeno wouldn't have said anything. But I suspect that because it happens to be this Sunday and next week happens to be our exam, she's chosen Mountain Aquarium. I know that I'm not hiding my confusion or my hesitation very well. Even so, Himeno turns her carefree grin my way. Since it's an aquarium, even if the rumors aren't true, we can still have fun, right? Well, that's true. Usually, anywhere I go with Himeno, I have fun. Whether or not we'd have fun was not what I was worried about. By the way, Mayu, in the east building of the Mountain Aquarium, they have a Haagen-Dazs. As in the Eden restaurant? They closed up at one point, but it looks like they're reopening for a limited time. Really? Really? They have cookies and cream flavor. They have the cookies and cream flavor you like too, Mayu. Of course I hesitate, but in the end, that settles it. Then we'll go. As long as we definitely get some cookies and cream. Saying you have no money because you did too much shopping is out of the question. I know. After all, I'm something of a glutton myself. Fine. In the end, we settle on Mountain Aquarium and ice cream for Sunday. Since I have already received my reward money from moving on to the next grade, I don't need to worry about my allowance. Still, it's been 5 years. Did you say something, Maya? No, nothing. I bite my tongue, covering the words that I carelessly spilled out. I'm looking forward to the aquarium. It's probably been about 10 years. I'm looking forward to the cookies and cream. It's probably been about 10 years. That's not true. It's the truth. That's the only thing I'll eat there. Himeno goes, "You little," as she playfully stretches my cheeks. The end of lunch chime sounds, and Himeno goes back to her own seat. If it's with Himeno, I'll be fine. That's what I told myself at the time. But how wrong we were. Right? Is that what's gonna happen? Bad things? Probably. Definitely. So what happened to this character before, Mayu? Which is a very interesting name choice because it reminds me of Fatal Frame. Anyways, Sunday is 3 days after that. The day I promised to go with Himeno to Mountain Aquarium has arrived. We are to meet at noon at the Mantencho station. As is customary for me, I arrive 30 minutes early. Leaning against the pillar, I do nothing but space out. Tons of people pass before me. Mountain is really crowded on days off. Even so, there aren't really that many families or groups of students, everyone around me appearing to be adults. Because of that, I quickly begin to feel uneasy. Within this crowd, I'm alone. Inexplicably, my head begins to hurt. I wonder if Himeno will be here soon. I mutter to myself, then look at my shoes. Deep blue sandal boots that were this year's newest product. When Mom and I stopped off at a department store on Saturday, she bought them for me after some coaxing on my part. They were far from what you'd call high quality, but they were a bit pricey on the junior high schooler's allowance. I'm not usually the type to beg, but I couldn't take my eyes off those boots. My mom bought them with almost no resistance, saying, "You're going out of town, so you need to look your best." I like both their form and their color. I found them a better fit for summer season than anything else. Also, this music is awesome. I love it. It's like really peaceful and just nice. Probably won't be that way for a while. I take my cell phone out and check the time. There's still 15 minutes to go until we're to meet. Since Himeno is always 3 minutes later than the time we establish, I've got about another 20 minutes. I finished reading my paperback on the train, so I have nothing to kill time with. There's nothing I can do about it, so I decide to keep myself from boredom by watching people passing by. If I don't keep myself distracted, horrible thoughts will revive in my mind. I'm always worrying about what will happen if I'm late, though. It had actually been about a month and a half since Himeno and I had gone out. We always talked to school, but rarely spent time together afterwards. Anyone who saw us probably thought we were opposites. Outings like this aside, I often spend my days off at home. When I was in elementary school, our family would go out often, but lately that's been limited to dining out on Saturdays. So when I'm asked what to do when I stay at home, I usually just say I do nothing. Doing homework and watching TV is stuff that seems pretty common to me. On the other end of the spectrum is Himeno, who goes out regularly. I often hear stories of when she went to karaoke on weeknights, or how she traveled out of town on Sundays. She's a member of an active sports club and often wants to hang out with them afterwards. Going out of town on this already limited days we have off tends to make me think. Even though it's a day to rest, I don't feel rested at all. In other words, something like this is the difference between Himeno and I. Without much common ground between us, why we became friends is... Okay. Suddenly, the light fades from my vision. It wasn't just that it had become dark, but I had the sensation of being unable to breathe. But rather than sweating it, I get a little mad. Oh, sorry. Hearing my wordless protest, Himeno pulled her hands away. I get playing the Who Am I game while covering someone's eyes, but covering someone's mouth was too was just like Himeno. When I puff out my cheeks and object, Himeno just smiles at me. It's because you were staring into space, Mayu. Instead of apologizing, Himeno blew on the nape of my neck. Without thinking, I made a weird sound. Embarrassed, I looked around 2 or 3 times, but the pedestrians walking by seemed unperturbed and didn't even look our way. The culprit who had surprised me moves in front of me before I realize it. You mean, Himeno. But I gotta hear something good. No, you didn't. Moreover, you're... As I say that, I check the time on my smartphone. It's 3 minutes to noon. Agreed upon meeting time. It's not time yet. How rare. That's rude. Jeez. I'll make you make a weird noise again. Saying that, Himeno opens and closes her fingers in a small, swift grasping motions. In times like this, I know I'd better change subject or get messed with by Himeno again. Oh, by the way, did you buy a new one? You mean my necktie? Yeah, I did. I thought I should get one to match my shorts. You and I haven't hung out since around midterms, Mayu. If I buy something today, I'll really be out of money. What about the aquarium? You're still set on finding out about the urban legends then? Of course, that's my #1 goal. But as usual, I can't count the things I want to do on just one hand. Okay, I get it. As long as I eat cookies and cream, that is absolute. I haven't forgotten. Anyway, Mayu, aren't your sandals new? Himeno says as she looked at my feet, talking about 3 times as fast as she does in class. Yeah, nice, aren't they? They're super cute. How cool, I want a pair too. Nope, then we'll be too similar, and these are the only pair of sandals I have for the summer. Talking like this, it puts me at ease. Unlike myself who is childish, Himeno knows a lot about fashion and trends. Even here in Manten, it seems like she blends in. Most importantly, by being with Himeno and constantly chatting, I no longer feel lonely. Oh yeah, Himeno, why'd you bring such a huge bag? I'm glad you asked! With a hee, Himeno opens the Boston bag she had let sink down from her shoulder. A variety of things come out, such as a flashlight, insect repellent, a simple blanket, a first aid kit, matches, and snacks like chocolate and cookies. What is she planning on doing? What is all this? Himeno, where do you plan on going? Ignoring the twitch developing in my face, Himeno thumps her chest. Jeez, to the aquarium. But since we're investigating urban legends, we should at least have some supplies. Rather than an investigation, the equipment she has reminds me of more of going camping in the mountains. The snacks and blanket aside, where in the city this size would we need insect repellent or a flashlight? I keep those feelings to myself and just smiled. I let out a breath that is half exasperated, half amused. I don't get sick of being with Himeno. Whether Himeno is aware of my exasperated gaze or not, she starts to take something out, then quickly shoves it back in. She gives me a smile, implying some secret. No, wait, it's too soon for you to see that. What were you about to pull out? I'm not telling. Upon saying that, Himeno quickly closes the bag. The way I see it, it's a wonder she fit all of the supplies she had out just a moment ago. I wonder where it's all being stored. By the way, no club today? I asked with the underlying question of whether or not today is a day off for the club. At my question, Himeno averts her eyes. Nope, probably no club today. Really? Giving a brief answer, I start walking. Upon hearing her reply, I immediately understand it as, she skipped it again. But not wanting to ruin the merry mood, I quickly merely quicken my pace. I'm not into any clubs, but even I know it's not good to skip. Speaking honestly, I want her to show up for the club, as she seems to be respected even by students from other schools. Coming here together like this makes me equally guilty though. Once I get thinking, I usually don't stop, so the conversation shifts to a ramen shop that catches my eye. Ooh, Mayu, do you want to get lunch? Huh? You caught that? Feeling as if she'd seen right through me, we head into a nearby coffee shop. It is apparently famous following its following his coverage in the magazine for a sandwich that was overflowing with vegetables. I say apparently because on excitedly finding the restaurants, Himeno shared this. Compared to a hamburger shop, this place is a bit intimidating and trendy to me, but since I'm with Himeno, it doesn't bother me. Shoving the roast chicken sandwich with extra olives that I ordered into my mouth, the unease I have been feeling disappears. In contrast to my fervor, Himeno eats her avocado and shrimp sandwich in small bites. Well then, about our plans for today. Himeno starts in as soon as we finish eating. We'll start with the aquarium, no matter what. That's the main thing. So we'll look into the old man's ghost and the closed off deep sea fish booth rumors. After that, we'll go to the shops and finally have some ice cream. I think it's better to get the cookies and cream first. If you eat 2 times, you'll mess up your stomach and get fat. You won't be able to wear a bathing suit. Oh, Himeno, it's not fair for you to put it that way. It isn't fair. Himeno's in the exercise club, so she'll be fine, but for someone like me who doesn't exercise enough, it makes me stop and think. Having said I wanted to go to the pool, it's all the more important. Okay, then we'll stick with my plan. That was a delicious meal. Urged on by Himeno, I decided to leave the ice cream shop for another time. Talking about silly things together, we leave the station behind. As opposed to the station's excellent cooling system, the city streets have a peculiar humidity and heat to them that envelops our bodies. The beginning of July. Summer has only begun and I can already tell it's going to be a tough one. We weave our way through the crowds until we're 10 minutes away from the station, finally ending up in front of a skyscraper. The building is a symbol for the people of Manten, a combined facility of commerce, what you might call a fashion building in reference to the businesses it contains. Manten is a town known as a place people go for amusement. If you really want to have a good time, they have a movie theater, arcades, and several shops, though you need to have money. Because of that, young men and women are more numerous than boys and girls. In this town of people older than us, Himeno scans the panels for each floor without fear, saying, the aquarium is... People are concentrated around the panels. So it's on a skyscraper? Is this like a real aquarium? I'm guessing Manten's a city, but is it like a real place? Because that would be interesting. If I go to Japan again, I'm definitely going to check it out, and I'll vlog it or something. Of little help to Himeno in trying to take up as little space as possible, I leave the search to her and gaze up at the building. I look up and up, but at the top of the building is so far I think my neck will snap. That's magnificent. This building was not built long after I was born. It had been finished before I could walk, but the first and only time I came here was in elementary school. The instant I think back on my first visit, my head begins to hurt. No? No. I have to try not to think about it. Those are things from long ago. Things from the past. Things that are done. I can do nothing but deal with the pain that feels as if something is pressing against the inside of my skull. I finally hear Himeno calling to me in a loud voice. The elevator's this way, come on! I push my headache away and step through the automatic door. The information at the entrance and the placement of the crane game are exactly the same as that day, giving me a slightly bad feeling. I didn't know I had an intro! Ooh, I like it! I love the music, I love the art style. Probably gonna hate some of the stuff, but oh. Shizuku no Oto, yeah, sound of drop. Huh. It's really pretty. Apparently they're all women. Oh, never mind, there's Keiji. I have no idea how I'm gonna give everybody different voices. I probably won't be able to. I like the song though. What's gonna happen? What can happen in an aquarium? I'm probably gonna find out. Oh yes, this looks like a lovely, lovely game. I gotta say, it looks really cool though. Like, I'm actually very curious to see what this game has to offer. But apparently it is a game that requires multiple playthroughs from what I've seen. You have to play through it a couple different times to get the most out of the story, which we will do. I don't know if I'm going to get every bad ending. I'm probably going to stumble across many of them, but I want to play as much of this without a guide as I can. But for this video here, I think that's a good place to stop it. We saw a nice little intro, and we will enter the aquarium in the next episode, and probably bad things are going to happen, so look forward to that. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed. I'll see you guys on the next MAMJ. Let's go. I love this art style though, it's like so freaking pretty, but I feel like that's going to come back and haunt me. A few days back, a few other agents and I were exploring the mansion to prepare for today. I had been the last to look inside the attic and leave, and this certainly hasn't been here before. Someone must have been in this room since then. Did Rose leave this for me? Was she here a while ago? I couldn't have missed her though, could I? There's only one set of stairs from the attic, and only one way to find out. The letter isn't exactly in pristine condition. In fact, it looks rather ancient. The paper is so thin and rough, I'm worried it'll fall apart if I so much as touched it.